Yannick Sinner wins his first Wimbledon title by beating Carlos Alcaraz 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. This is Yannick's fourth Grand Slam title, and Yannick has a chance to complete his career Grand Slam if he manages to win Roland Garros. And speaking of Roland Garros, this is where Yannick Sinner had 3 consecutive match points in the fourth set where he was up 5-3. And there was an interesting situation today because we could have seen something very similar. Now, we're going to get in depth on what happened in today's match. But the reason why we didn't see what we saw at Roland Garros is, just like Carlos Alcaraz said in the post-match press conference, what champions are all about is getting better and learning from mistakes. So Yannick Sinner didn't get affected by that loss like a lot of people expected him to. No, he possibly got motivated by that loss, and he worked on the things that he did wrong in that match and corrected them in today's Wimbledon final. But before we get to that late stage of the match, let's start from the very beginning. In the first set, both players were serving well and playing well up to 2-all 40-15 on the Alcaraz serve, and it is here where Alcaraz lost 4 points in a row and got broken. Sinner held, was up 4-2, and now all of a sudden, Carlos Alcaraz started getting pumped up and started playing a lot better. At 4-3, Sinner serving 15-all. We saw a 15-ball rally that featured incredible athleticism for both players, and this is what we heard the first vamos from Carlos. And you could just feel that he was going to get the break, and he did. Now the score was tied at 4-all. Alcaraz holds and then breaks Sinner again to win the first set 6-4 with an amazing set point that featured a crazy athleticism from Alcaraz where he was sliding on grass like it was a clay court. Now Sinner did throw in a missed swing volley and a double fault in this game, and he wasn't serving well in the first set. His first serve percentage was 56% and he had 0 aces. Now interestingly, with Carlos serving the first game of the second set, Sinner gets the break right away, and this changed the dynamic of this match. Now Sinner in his first service game had to save break point, and he did. He managed to hold that game, and this was a crucial stage of the match because both players at this stage were missing a lot of first serves, but Sinner managed to win a lot of second serve points early in that second set. He was building confidence, and he was also pumping himself up. On the other hand, Carlos Alcaraz started showing some negative body language. Sinner was able to hang on to that early break and found himself serving for the set at 5-4. His serve percentage did go up in that second set to 68%. So he was slowly building confidence into his serve and getting into a better rhythm. He was able to hold that game at 5-4 by hitting 2 consecutive insane running forehands. And now we were tied at 1 set apiece. In the third set, Sinner was the better player. He got into a groove on his serve, and his first serve percentage jumped to 84%. And because Sinner was making a lot more first serves, Alcaraz had far less looks to get a break in that third set. On the other hand, Carlos Alcaraz was missing a lot of first serves, and Sinner started returning a lot better and putting Carlos under a lot of pressure. Sinner had many opportunities in that third set to get a break, and Carlos was getting out of a jam. He hit quite a few aces in this match, but the first serve percentage was low, and because he felt the pressure from the Sinner return, he was throwing in quite a few double faults. So Sinner finally gets the break on the Alcaraz serve at 4-all and serves out the set 6-4. And prior to the third set, Sinner had 0 aces, and in the third set alone, he had 7 aces with a first serve percentage of 84%. Early in the fourth set at 1-all, Alcaraz serving, Sinner was playing with a lot of confidence, and he was playing very aggressive, attacking the Alcaraz serve. And at 30-all, he hit 2 consecutive backhand down the line winners. He got the break and then delivered an extremely solid hold to go up 3-1. And here's where Yannick Sinner learned lessons and showed improvements in this fourth set compared to the fourth set at Roland Garros, where he was also up a break 5-3 and love 40 on the Alcaraz serve. In that match, Sinner was somewhat tentative. But here, once he got that break, he got even more aggressive and started ripping balls. So he gave himself a chance to get an insurance break and got the Alcaraz service game to deuce that he couldn't convert. Alcaraz kept that match close, and now Sinner held again, went up 4-2. Sinner gets the Alcaraz service game to 30 all, but Alcaraz holds, and at 40-30, he serves and volleys and plays a phenomenal forehand drop shot. And after hitting that shot, Carlos Alcaraz smiles. And you know when Carlos Alcaraz is smiling, when he's losing, that something good is coming. So Sinner is serving at 4-3, up a break. And this is where the problem started for Sinner, because he shanked a forehand at 15 all. Now it's 15-30. Alcaraz hits a deep return, and Sinner misses a backhand long. And now it's 15-40. And I'm sure you were thinking we have the same situation as the Roland Garros final. Sinner is up 2-1, up a break, and he was about to lose his serve, and Carlos Alcaraz was getting pumped up. But this is where Jannik Sinner showed a lot of courage, because he missed his first serve on that 15-40 point, but then delivered a 110-mile-an-hour second serve and got a service winner. Then at 30-40, Alcaraz makes his first serve, plays aggressive, and Alcaraz sprays a forehand long. Now, a super interesting shot from Sinner came at deuce in the 4-3 game. And if you remember the set point that Sinner had in the Rome final against Alcaraz, where he tried to do one of his jump backhands, and he was doing far less of those against Alcaraz on grass, because when he plays Alcaraz on clay, Alcaraz gives him a lot more height to the backhand side. So he does more jump backhands there. But nevertheless, he had set point in Rome. He did a jump backhand behind the baseline and sprayed it way wide. This time, Sinner found himself inside the baseline, did a jump backhand, and hit it very clean down the line, got the point, and now it was game point Sinner. So the shot selection on one of the only jump backhands that he hit in the whole match was excellent. Sinner holds this game, is up 5-3, and when I saw how Sinner was returning in the 5-3 game, I knew that even if he lost that game, he was going to hold the game at 5-4. Because contrary to the match in Roland Garros, Jannik Sinner was absolutely ripping the daylights out of the ball when Alcaraz was serving in that game. And Alcaraz got lucky to hold that game, and Sinner simply wasn't holding back. You can see the adjustments that Sinner has made from losing that match at Roland Garros, because he wasn't going to be tentative in this phase of the match. He was going to get this win on his own terms. Sinner's up 5-4, plays a solid game, has match point at 40-15, and delivers the fastest serve of the match, an absolute bomb down the tee at 137 miles an hour, and takes his first Wimbledon title. So this match showed the abilities of Alcaraz to come back in a match, because Alcaraz didn't go away in this one. He fought until the very end, and he tried to get the crowd into it as well. And he was being positive towards the end of the match, even though he was negative in that second set and in some portions of the third set. So Carlos Alcaraz is very difficult to put away because of his fighting spirit, his positive mindset, and also the fact that he can get the crowd engaged. But we saw a huge improvement in how Sinner finished out this match. But if we look at the stats, this match came down to the serve and the return performances from both players. So as already said, Sinner improved his serve in each set. On the other hand, Carlos Alcaraz was missing way too many first serves. His first serve percentage for the entire match was 53%, and that's too low. And Jannik Sinner last year finished the tour with the best shot quality on the return of serve. So Jannik Sinner is an insane returner, both on the first serve, but especially on the second serve. And Alcaraz felt that, and that's why he was pressing his second serve a little bit more, and that's why he ended up with 7 double faults. So long story short, it's the second serve return of Sinner that won him the match. It's the second serve of Sinner that saved him in this match. And it's the first serve of Alcaraz that cost Alcaraz this match. Now, as Alcaraz said in the post-match presser, the baseline play was strong from both players, and it featured a lot of entertaining rallies. I will say that Carlos's feel seemed to be off today. He was misfiring on quite a few drop shots. But speaking of the entertainment factor, when these two guys face off against each other, we have to accept that we're not necessarily going to get another match like the one we saw at Roland Garros. This is a once in a lifetime match, possibly. Maybe one of the greatest matches that's ever been played. Looking ahead into the future, Jannik Sinner has the opportunity to continue his dominance on the hard courts. And if he's able to do that and win the US Open again, he's going to be 1 point away from a calendar year Grand Slam, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. I do think that this was a very important win for Jannik Sinner in the rivalry against Carlos Alcaraz, because if he would have lost another match to him, the head-to-head would have been 9-4 for Alcaraz. Generally speaking, when these two guys play each other, it's going to be a 50-50 match. Now, there might be a slight advantage for either player based on many factors, but one important factor is the surface. And it is my belief that the faster the surface, advantage Sinner. And this includes grass. Even though Carlos Alcaraz is a phenomenal grass court player, 3 consecutive Wimbledon finals, 2 titles, I do think that grass being fast benefits Sinner. And of course, when we get to slower surfaces, Carlos Alcaraz will have more opportunities to change up his game style, and there will be more chances to break Sinner's rhythm. Because when it comes to Sinner's rhythm, he's comfortable playing a fast style of tennis. And by fast, I mean serving big and hitting maybe 1 or 2 balls after. He's not necessarily looking for long rallies. So there are going to be less opportunities to break Sinner's rhythm for Alcaraz inside of a rally when the surface is fast. Now, of course, when the surface is a little bit slower, Carlos Alcaraz will have more chances to change the height of his ball, to utilize more drop shots, and get into these extended rallies where indeed he can potentially break Sinner's rhythm. Now, I want to let you guys know that, like I did after the Australian Open and Roland Garros, I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're going to talk about Wimbledon. We're going to talk about intuitive tennis. So make sure that you subscribe to Intuitive Tennis and tune in, and I will see you guys then.